Are you ready to hear about those houses that have ghost visitors? Today, we're counting down the top 10 haunted houses where horror things happen. We have new videos every day, so make sure to subscribe and ring the bell. These houses have strange stories, and people say they're haunted. So beware because ghosts might be hanging out there. So get ready to hear about some really scary houses in the world. Number 10, La Lurie Mansion, New Orleans. Starting at number 10, one of the super scary houses in the whole world is La Lurie Mansion in New Orleans, Louisiana. Imagine, just like the house, the lady who lived there, Delphine LaLaurie, seemed all fancy and nice. But guess what? Behind those doors, she was really, really mean to the people she owned. Like, really, really mean. One day, on April 10, 1834, a slave set her big house on fire. The fire showed everyone the terrible things she did. The lady hurt and did bad things to the slaves. People got so mad when they heard this that they made her leave New Orleans and she ran away to Paris. The big house has been different things over the years, like a school and a place where people live. Even an actor named Nicolas Cage had it, but he lost his money. Weird thing is, no one seems to stay there for long. People think maybe it's cursed, like bad magic. So you see, this house is not just a house. It's a mystery with a lot of secrets and it's really, really scary. Number 9, Glickling Hall in Glickling, England. Number 9 most haunted house ever is Glickling Hall in Glickling, England. This big house in Norfolk might have been where Anne Boleyn was born. She was the second wife of King Henry VIII, a very important king, but there was trouble in their castle. The queen had a daughter named Elizabeth I, but she didn't have a son. This made King Henry VIII very sad. He wanted a boy to be king after him. Anne Boleyn couldn't make that happen, and their love story ended in a sad way. They fought a lot, and people said mean things about Anne Boleyn. They said she did bad things like being with other people and planning to hurt the king. Some people think these stories were made up, but even though they might not be true, Anne Boleyn was still taken away and lost her head on May 18, 1536. People say her ghost without a head shows up at her old home on the day she died every year. This is why the National Trust said Glickling Hall is the most haunted house in the country. Number 8, Salem, Massachusetts. Moving on to number 8, Salem, Massachusetts is a place with history. A long time ago in 1668, Captain John Turner made a big house. The house was special and looked different from others. It was in his family for a long time, even through 3 generations. And guess what? This house was so interesting that a famous writer, Nathaniel Hawthorne, got an idea from it. He wrote a book called The House of the Seven Gables, and it was full of strange, scary things. Nowadays, the house is like a school for curious minds. People go there to learn about history. But because of the eerie story Nathaniel Hawthorne told, some say the house is not only a place to learn, but also a place for ghosts. People who visit tell tales of seeing a ghost named Susan Ingersoll. She was Nathaniel Hawthorne's cousin and lived there long ago. Someone even took a picture of what they thought was a ghost boy hanging out in the yard. Can you believe that? Ghosts in pictures? Number 7, Molly Brown House in Denver, Colorado. The seventh scary house in the world is Molly Brown House in Denver, Colorado. Way back in 1912, there was a big ship called RMS Titanic, and a brave lady named Margaret Maggie Brown was on it. The ship went underwater, but she survived. She even told the boat helpers to rescue more people. Because of this, people called her the unsinkable Molly Brown. Even after she went away in 1932, some say Molly's ghost still hangs out at her old house in Denver. This house got all fixed up in the 1970s and is now a museum. Some folks who visit smell smoke from a pipe, like Molly's husband, James Joseph Brown, might be around. People also think they've seen a lady in old-timey clothes and Molly's family members. Number 6, Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana. The Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana is a bed and breakfast now, but before a general named David Bradford built it in 1796. But guess what? It said he built it on top of an old Indian place where they buried people. People have seen some strange things there. They say they saw a Native American girl and other scary figures. But the most famous one is Chloe. She was a slave for Clark and Sarah Woodruff. Chloe listened to secrets and got in trouble. Someone chopped off her ear, so she made a cake with poison for Sarah and her girls. They got very sick, and Chloe was in big trouble. Other slaves hung her and threw her body in the river. Number 5, Whaley House in San Diego, California. Whaley House in San Diego, California is one of the top 10 houses with lots of ghosts. Long time ago in 1852, a man named Thomas Whaley saw something really scary. He saw a man named James Yankee Jim Robinson get hanged. James did something wrong, they said, so they punished him. Many years after that, Thomas Whaley built a special house with bricks. He used these special bricks to make a two-story house that looked like old Greek buildings. This was the first kind of house like that in San Diego. But wait, the house did many things. It was not just a place to live. It was also a theater where people watched plays, a courthouse where important things happened, and a store where people bought things. Now here's the scary part. People say that the ghost of Yankee Jim is in the house. He walks around and makes strange things happen. But he is not the only ghost. His daughter Violet Whaley did something very sad in 1885. People say she ended her own life on the property. When Thomas and his wife died, some believe their spirits stayed in the house. It's not just a house now, it's a museum. Number 4, Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California. Moving on to number 4, we've got the Winchester Mystery House located in San Jose, California. This house is like no other house you've seen. A long time ago, a lady named Sarah Winchester lived there. Her husband made guns, and when he passed away, she got a lot of money. But there was a problem. Some people thought her husband's gun hurt many people, and their ghosts were angry. Guess what? Sarah thought these ghosts were hunting her. She talked to someone who said they knew things about spirits like a fortune teller. They told her to leave her old home and go to San Jose, so she did. And there, she built a super big house. It had more than 160 rooms. That's like so many places to explore. People say that the Winchester Mystery House is like a magnet for ghosts. Strange things happen there, and sometimes you can feel a shiver down your spine. Now, this story is so interesting that they even made a movie about Sarah Winchester. A really good actress named Helen Mirren played her in the movie. Number 3, Lizzie Borden House in Fall River, Massachusetts. Number 3 on the list of super haunted houses is the Lizzie Borden House in Fall River, Massachusetts. Lizzie Borden is like a really famous person from a long time ago who got in trouble for using an axe to hurt her dad and stepmom in 1892. Now here's the tricky part. The house where she lived might still have some ghostly friends. Fast forward a big bunch of years to 1996, and guess what? They turned her dad's house into a bed and breakfast. People come to stay there and hope to see Lizzie and her parents, but not for real, just like in ghost form. If you're worried that you'll get hurt into a wax statue like in museum, you might not sleep so well. You might even keep one eye open just in case. Number 2, the Amityville Horror House in Amityville, New York. Number 2 is the Amityville Horror House in Amityville, New York. You might not have read the book called The Amityville Horror, but maybe you watched the movie about it. It's like a horrible story actually happened in real life. Once upon a time, in 112 Ocean Avenue, a person named Ronald DeFeo Jr. did a really bad thing. He hurt 6 people in his family really badly. Then in 1975, a little more than 1 year after that scary event, a family named George and Kathy Lutz moved into the same house with their 3 kids. But guess what? Just 28 days later, they left. People say it's because they met some scary stuff that wasn't from this world. And in 2017, someone who didn't tell their name bought the scary house for $605,000. That's a lot of money, but it was less than the price they wanted. Let's hope the new person doesn't meet any angry ghosts or mean demons. Number 1, the White House, Washington, D.C. Wow, guess what? The most famous house in the whole US is also the most haunted. It's called the White House and it's in Washington, D.C. Strange, right? For a big, important house, it has lots of ghostly tales. Way back when Abraham Lincoln was around, people started seeing his ghost there. Cool, right? First Lady Grace Coolidge even saw him peeking out the Oval Office window. And not just her, Lady Bird Johnson and Eleanor Roosevelt felt his ghostly presence too. Imagine even fancy visitors like Queen Wilhelmina and Winston Churchill saw ghostly figures they thought were Lincoln's ghost. But guess what? Lincoln isn't the only ghost in this famous house. Others like Andrew Jackson and Abigail Adams also supposedly haunt the place. So what's going on in that White House? Ghost stories make it even more exciting. What do you think? Do you believe in haunted houses? Which one do you find most haunted? Share your thoughts down below. And hey, speaking of haunted houses, do you know any other creepy houses that are famous for being haunted? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get more interesting movies updated like this.